Greetings, Wargamers. We're your hosts, Trevor,
Jay,
Josh, and this is Chain Attack.
Chain Attack is sponsored by Discount Games Incorporated. Discount Games Incorporated specializes in customer service, low prices, and prompt shipping. You can find our web store at www.discountgamesinc.com.
Welcome to Chain Attack. I'm your host, Trevor, and I am halfway through Project Hail Mary.
Oh.
I'm Jay, and I just watched the pilot of The Expanse yesterday as my exercise TV show.
Yeah. And did you enjoy it?
I mean, I'd watched the pilot previously, and
Oh, so you're just kind of resetting yourself.
yeah, and I mean it's okay. I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to enjoy the TV show that much because I'll just be like, why am I not just reading the books?
Look,
So.
if you don't love Avasarala on the TV show, I don't know how to help you.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to love her, and obviously.
So
Holden
you're not
is-
watching The Expanse, Jay. You're watching the Avasarala show. Okay, just
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
it's all about perspective, really.
I mean, and Hold'em is a very handsome guy. He has much more of a baby face than what I picture him.
In the books. I had
Yeah.
that same reaction. That's true. That is totally true.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure I can go read the books at this point after having watched the show.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
it's
yeah, I
probably
forgot
spoiled.
when we were making recommendations for you. Yeah, a lot of the plot points are spoiled. That's true.
I did try reading the books. I didn't get very far. I was very confused for the first, I don't know how far I got, but the first chapter or two, it didn't.
I mean, honestly, the first book is one of my least favorite of the series.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, but I mean that's still like a high bar for a lot of books, in my opinion. I'm Josh, and speaking of books, following Jay's recommendations will probably slowly destroy my mind over the course of my life. I started reading.
For the record, all I said was that I purchased this book because of a tweet that Ezra Klein did.
Yeah, so then
And-
I know it's accessible. So this book is called When We Cease to Understand the World, and I am 18% into it, which basically means I've just started chapter 2. And chapter 1, like, just completely blew my mind. Like, it goes into some incredible history. I think you would love it, Trevor, because it's addressing some World War I and World War II history, but, it's about, like, chemical warfare and stuff. And anyway, the author, like, he just grabs your attention and then just drags you along this wild ride through history that I would have never believed I could have experienced before. So I'm totally sucked into this thing.
It shot up my list, like it went to the top of the pile, basically, just from reading a little bit about it. So it is probably the next book I'm going to read. The thing that I'm interested, I didn't get into it that far because I had other things going on, but it was written in a different language and translated? ?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, is that?
I have no idea.
You literally just bought it, Jay, and you don't know anything else about it then.
Well, I mean, I read the Amazon blurb, and I saw that it was like, one of the New York Times, 10 best books of the year, which was frankly not a
High
something that made me eager. Yeah, not something that made me read it, because usually literature I tend to bounce off of more because I want to enjoy my reading, not have I guess profound experiences, I guess, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so the tweet that Ezra Klein gave, and as a parenthetical, I guess, like, he reads a ton of books.
Yeah,
it's
right.
It's his, and that's what he.
I imagine he's like my campaign manager who reads 250 books a year on a bad year.
Yeah, that's probably correct. Yeah.
So if you go to Random House's page for the When We Cease to Understand the World, it says by Benjamin. I'm not even going to Labatut.
Sure.
Translated by Adrian Nathan West. That's where I got the. It was written in a different language.
Okay, interesting.
But I don't know what. I know nothing more than that.
I wonder if that's. You would assume not, but I wonder if that's saying that it's being translated into other languages. But you would assume it's being translated into English. I don't know, but. Yeah. Anyways.
Oh yeah. I'm reading some more about the author, and yeah, it looks like it was translated from. Well, I'm assuming Spanish because he lives in Chile.
Oh, interesting. Anyways, the Ezra Klein tweet was that the first chapter was the best first chapter he's ever read. So then I bought the book, and
you haven't read it yet.
Well, right, because I'm in the middle of kind of. Through
Children of Ruin. Sure.
Children of Ruin.
Jay? Listen, just set Children of Ruin aside for a second.
No, I'm going to finish it, and then I will go on to this book.
Honestly, it feels like a pretty short read. Now, for the record, it's fiction, right? But it's like
it is historical fiction.
Yeah. I didn't even think about. My wife's gonna love this. I'm gonna have to recommend it to her probably.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, all right.
Well, in the pre-ramble, we talked a little bit about how fun and awesome the pandemic is, and so
yes, that's what we said, Jay.
So subscribe so you can hear all that. But I guess for the tie-in plug for Discount Games Inc. is you can place your order online with Discount Games Inc. We'll get it shipped to you fast, and you can hide away in your house, assembling your miniatures and painting them, and hopefully escape the Omicron plague that is rampaging across the world. All right, so we are going to grade. So this is, Chain Attack Mark IV, all about the MCU Mark V, because we are going to grade another MCU property today. So Hawkeye on Disney Plus. We've all watched it. I guess we will probably discuss some spoilery stuff, so be a little bit warned on that, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna be spoiling because I got me some concerns.
Okay. I guess first off, I'll just ask like a big picture. What was your guys' reaction to it?
I mean, to answer that question, I kind of want to rank it in with the other Disney Marvel properties that came out this last year. Is that a fair thing to do?
Sure.
So we're talking about WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, right?
Uh-huh.
And now Hawkeye. Am I forgetting any of them? I feel like I forgot one somewhere there.
No, that's you.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So I would put this. I think this Hawkeye was a solid third for me. And depending on how we talk about some of my questions, I might be willing to move it up to a 2, to second place, right? I think WandaVision is still the best of them, and What If, even though it went too dark for my family, I still liked What If. I think just a little more than Hawkeye.
You liked Hawkeye more than WandaVision?
No, I liked WandaVision the most. Still, I did like Hawkeye.
You liked it more than Loki.
I did like it more than Loki. Yeah, I ended
up. Oh my heavens! Wow.
Loki. Yeah,
my mind is broken.
Dark times, right?
I'm sorry. You might have to dismiss our friendship from here on out.
Wow.
Okay, I'm curious. So now we have to do this now. Trevor, what is your ranking of the 5?
Loki first. WandaVision second. I think I would probably put. I'd probably put Hawkeye third. Falcon and Winter Soldier fourth, and What If last.
Oh, and interesting. Is that because What If had too much Doctor Strange in it? Sorry.
No,
I couldn't keep a straight face.
No, as I said before, I actually like that Doctor Strange more than the normal Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
No, it's just it felt a little disjointed. Then I was almost assaulted by the hey, it's not disjointed at the very end that I sort of caught off guard. It didn't really resonate for me, I guess. So maybe it should, because I do like that the theme of multiverses and the theme of time travel, etc. Right. All those things. It is up my alley. I didn't like the disjoined feelings from episode to episode. Like some of them
Mhm.
just felt very different. It's the same problem I would have like with Star Wars Visions or similar programs like it. Anytime they sort of try to put together a bunch of different discongruous stories and then in this case try to combine them at the end, I probably wouldn't care for it unless they was really cleverly done. I just didn't feel like this one made that threshold. And let me also say before Jay goes, because he's gonna make this rant for me. I would have enjoyed Hawkeye, and I probably would have put it in the top 1 or 2 had Jeremy Renner not been involved.
Oh,
If they just gotten rid of him out of the gate.
I mean, I'm okay. I'll do my ranking and then I'll do my Jeremy Renner.
So before you
bit.
do your ranking, Jay, what I'm hearing is that Trevor says I was right. No, it's the third of the properties.
Sure.
I mean, and I'll also stipulate that like even the last place of this I think is pretty strong. I've still enjoyed all of them quite a bit.
Oh yeah. I agree with that 100%.
And I'm still willing to keep trying on Book of Boba Fett, and maybe they're going to turn it around. But honestly, it is a show that is like no one would care about if it was not Star Wars, and is not very good so far.
So that you're telling me the meme of the little tiny toy choo-choo train that's labeled Mandalorian towing an actual locomotive labeled the Star Wars franchise is accurate after watching Boba Fett? Is that what you're telling me, Jay? I haven't started Boba Fett yet, so I'll have to
I
see.
haven't either, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. The second episode evidently is having a better reception, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so actually my ranking is basically Trevor's. 1 and 2 is WandaVision, Loki for me, and it's a toss up for me, whichever I think they're both. It's 1A, 1B for me. I think that they're clearly better than the rest of the other 3. And then I would do the same as Trevor. Hawkeye on down to What If is my last. And I guess for my Jeremy Renner rant, I've said this I think a few times on either social media or on Discord, but honestly, this is by far my favorite version of Jeremy Renner playing Hawkeye in the MCU.
I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that like they've given up the pretense that he has any charisma or that he's handsome.
Yeah,
and
he's just a grumpy old jerk at this point.
Yeah, he's this. Jeremy Renner works great as grumpy old man Hawkeye, and so after all this pain and suffering of him being Hawkeye, we've finally gotten to the role that he can succeed in.
If they would have given me, and if they do give me season 2 as Haley Steinfeld and Florence Pugh as Kate Bishop and Yelena, the new Black Widow, oh
my gosh, I will.
I am 200% on board. They have so much more charisma.
They are amazing.
Screen presence. They're just amazing.
Are they episode? Is it episode 5 that they have macaroni together?
Yeah, something like that.
That I'm not even lying. I think that scene is worth the whole series.
Yeah. And supposedly the rumor is that Black Widow 2 is going to be the 2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
I'm on board 100%.
I can only get so excited, Jay.
I really enjoyed it.
I love your Captain Americanization of your sayings.
If you know the meme, you know the meme.
Yeah. Anyways.
Also, we're not behind a paywall here, Jay, so.
It's true. It's also a little creepy if it's. Anyway.
Yes, also true.
I was hopeful about the Hawkeye series because I did like the Hawkeye comic arc that
it's based on, right?
Gained a lot of inspiration from.
I mean, I will say the Tracksuit Mafia is amazing. They're so freaking hilarious as bad guys.
Yes. So I did have some hope, and in a lot of ways, there are things that I am disgruntled about with this show, but overall, I feel like it was successful, and I also appreciate that, like, I I want Marvel to be able to have lower stakes stories that are still interesting,
Yeah.
and I feel like they succeeded with that in this show. Um, Josh, you said that you needed to have some discussions about some things, and it was going to change your views. So why don't we
Yeah. So
dive in?
I'm just gonna go right to the main one. Okay. End of the series. Like, you guys just tell me what in the ever living garbage happened with Kingpin. And I didn't realize, but the deaf character that's Echo, right? And she's actually
Yes.
going to have she's already confirmed to have her own series
TV
spin-off or
series.
movie
Yes.
series. Okay, so she's
Series.
going to have
Disney
a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened at the end of that? Really?
Okay, so first off, I'll say I didn't really feel like the series did a great job of getting me emotionally invested in Echo.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
fair.
not-
agree.
I'm not really like, man, I'm super excited for the Echo series on Disney.
I mean,
Plus.
is she supposed to be a hero in the end? Is that what I'm supposed to take from that?
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
I would-
all right.
I don't know enough about Echo, but I took more of the maybe anti-hero a little bit from her.
Yeah, maybe.
Vigilante, not out of desire but forced. I maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know anything about the character.
So, that was my thought on Echo. As and honestly,
I liked her fine,
my
but I mean,
yeah, I know it's fine.
in a series with Yelena and Kate Bishop, like, shoot, that's tough. That's tough to overcome, I feel.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like when you start making comparisons with her to, like you said, Yelena and Kate Bishop. She didn't.
Here's what I really need you guys to do. I need you to comfort me. Okay, that's what I'm really looking for here. Like, just tell me that what really happened is the classic. You didn't see the body at the end of the comic book.
I mean,
and so the character who's one of my favorite villains is not actually, dead.
He's not dead. What?
All right.
Sorry. What, you thought he was dead?
Yes, that's like I feel like if you're not a student of comic books, it would be very easy for you to believe at the end that when he's saying to Echo, like, sometimes family doesn't understand, then she just shoots him. That's what I would take from that if I were not a student of comic books. I mean, he certainly didn't. So. He certainly didn't grab the gun and kill her, right? Like,
no.
All right, that's all. And so maybe I just was reading too much into it, and I should just accept that, yes, it is the comic book trope, the big bad guy. I mean, Wilson Fisk he was so good in the Netflix series, and so it was really fun to see him in this series, even though, in the end he got beat, but I'm glad who beat him, kind of thing. And by him, by who beat him, I mean Kate Bishop, not Echo.
I was kind of, I guess maybe eye roll is maybe the best phrase for how they handled Kingpin at the end, because
you mean at the very end, like just the limping into the alley and Echo being there kind of thing, or do you mean
the off-screen, you don't see what happens, etc.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, because to me it felt like Disney was just trying to have all of their options available, and
yeah, I would agree with that.
If contract
negotiations, right?
If contract negotiations go poorly, then he's dead. If we're able to work things out, then he's doing just fine.
Yeah, I subscribe to that newsletter more than I subscribe to the he's dead news. Could he be dead? Yeah, if they decide they don't want to go, pursue. But I don't think so. I think that they'll probably cut to that scene. If they get everything lined up, or maybe they already have, they just didn't know at the time, and they decide, maybe Echo has a just a conscience for the last minute, and instead pulls off to the side.
Right.
Gives him the ringing ear and then walks away angry or whatever. I mean, who knows how they're going to start it up.
That's fair. Okay.
But in my mind, I think that he's probably not dead and we will see him again. I just don't think they would spend all that time to reintroduce his character only to kill him an episode later.
Yeah, well, that's what I was worried about. So that thank you. That's what I needed. I needed the comfort. Okay, this is not one of my questions, but I do want to know, am I a bad person that I would subscribe to a whole separate streaming service if it was just Rogers the Musical? Like, I mean the full musical. I got to see everything.
Sure.
Not just I could do this all day, right? Which is
no, that's fine.
I am here for that kind of campy treatment of superheroes. That's all I'm saying.
I've got a couple one thing, and then I have a question for you. So
All right.
I was
Okay.
listening to another podcast, and it was a podcast about the Eternals,
Okay.
and
Which I still have
this
not
is
seen.
this is
Shame on me.
yeah, this is wholly unrelated to anything. It was just something I thought was super interesting or funny. And so the Eternals was a movie where it had some production issues, and generally, like the only time the people see Kevin Feige on set is if there are problems. And so Eternals was a movie where, he went on set. And
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
but there was another part of it that was funny to me where in another interview with him, they were talking about like, who's in or out with the MCU, or is there anyone who you could see you're never going to work with again, or who's absolutely out, etc. Right? And I'm curious, what do you guys think was his answer to that? Because he actually did, he gave a name of like, this person will never work in the MCU.
Okay.
That
So
bridge is burned.
talking
And
about a actor or actress, right? Oh,
yeah, or he
guess.
also said like, even Joss Whedon, like, there's places in the multiverse where he comes back and works for the MCU potentially.
That is funny. Well, I'm gonna guess Angelina Jolie, but only because that's the only person I can think of. Like, I don't have a good answer. Like, I'm curious though to know, what did he say? Oh, after Trevor's guess, of course.
Yeah, what's your guess, Trevor?
I have no idea. Probably. I mean, how far back are we going?
I mean, as far back as you want to.
Ed Norton.
Yes, that is correct.
Did that Hulk? Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ed Norton has a
reputation.
A pretty bad reputation. Yeah.
Interesting.
He is.
He kind of wanted to be a actor / director of a movie. And,
okay.
Yeah. It was super funny to me that Feige was like, a lot of times people are like, they just don't say anything, right? Or they're like very non-committal and give generic answers or whatever. But he was very much like, no, we are never again working with Edward Norton.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Edward Norton, I feel like, has burned almost all of his Hollywood bridges. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. That would have been my first guess right off the bat, is Edward Norton.
Well, it was your first guess. So
yeah, that's what
good
I'm
job.
saying. It's just gosh, I think that he's probably a pretty talented actor. I think I really enjoy a lot of his films, but you can see his personality come through in some of his characters, and you're like, man, you're really a dick. You know what I mean? It's just gosh.
Okay, so my question for you, Josh, is, you just said that Kingpin is one of your top villains.
Yes.
And is that because of that actor, or
yes?
It's because I'll be honest, like,
I don't like him as a villain. Like, although the Ultimate Spider-Man run that I read as a older high schooler, I did enjoy the Kingpin in that series, right? But as a villain, he a lot of times is not that. Although he was amazing in Into the Spider-Verse, right? But he's still not as interesting, But that actor is so good.
I struggle with him as a villain because he kind of falls in the Hawkeye category of like, okay, he's this big fat dude that doesn't really have superpowers, that just isn't very interesting to me.
Right. Being ultra wealthy is not interesting to you necessarily. But that's the thing. That's the thing that I thought was interesting about the Netflix version of him. Like, he is just like ruthless, and I mean, he's like a human monster. But because of that actor is my answer to your question, right? That's what you're asking.
Yeah, basically, yes.
I mean, like, does he stack up to Green Goblin? No. And I would love to see that actor versus William Dafoe in anything. I mean, in an MCU event, that'd be amazing.
Sure, yeah.
I'm something of a kingpin myself.
I do have one rant for you guys, and I'm curious if this bothered you guys as well, or if this is just like Jay's neuroses or something. But like, it super bugged me in Hawkeye, this series, how like it just felt like the MacGuffin in some of the points was super weak, and like Hawkeye was like, oh man, it is imperative that I get back this costume of the Ronin that no one has seen me wear and no one knows it has any association with me, and I have to get back for reasons. And then there's a Rolex that, oh no, someone might get this Rolex that has a Roman numeral on the back of it, and wouldn't it just be awful if someone got a Rolex? Like am I crazy here? Like, it just felt.
Are you crazy
real-
for feeling like those MacGuffins are weak?
Yeah,
I mean,
guess.
is that what your question is? No, I don't think you're crazy, but I think sometimes the MacGuffin doesn't have to be that good.
Like,
So
it felt like this was almost like a dog ate my homework level of,
like they phoned
like-
it in, right?
yes.
Look, Hawkeye suffered a lot of head trauma in all the battles of the MCU so far, and so he's probably kind of a dummy.
I love that that's your excuse. He could be a dummy because he's taken some head trauma. I don't agree. I guess maybe I just saw them a little differently. I mean, the reason why he chases the suit is because he sees someone else using it. I think that's a little different. That he's afraid that his past is going to come back to haunt him. And I got the impression that the watch had something to do with his wife and potential.
It does.
Yeah, his wife ends up being an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Well, I'm assuming that it has there's further meaning that we have not been given yet. But
okay.
if that is
It's
not
super
the case,
important that Rolex.
listen, I will admit that if that
well,
is
to
not
Jay's
the case,
point,
then the
what
Rolex-
bothered me about the Rolex thing is it's like he didn't even act like he knew it was a thing until I think the last episode.
Yes, yeah, it was like a super late addition to the series as well.
That's what I mean. Even though it showed up in the first episode,
I can agree that it does feel forced there.
yeah.
But I'm saying that if it does not come back at some point as a plot point, that yes, it was a stupid MacGuffin. If it does, then I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it coming back. If it doesn't, then yes, it was a stupid MacGuffin. They should have found another reason to have him be in Echo's apartment at that point.
All right, I have one more question before we start grading, which is, I felt like the Jack Duquesne being a good guy in the last episode was completely unearned. Like, I think the LARPers should have clubbed him, in the head repeatedly, and that should have been the end of that.
Is that just because you didn't like the character? Or?
No, I liked him fine. The arc, I just didn't buy it. Like he was at this freaking black market auction. He's like super sus the whole freaking episode, and then they just kind of hand waved. Like Kate says to the LARPers, "Oh, he's on our side," but get him out of here. I don't remember what she says exactly, but I'm like, excuse me, like bare minimum, he deserved a bolo arrow right to the nuts, and then out of the fight. Like, and am I wrong? Did he not just like stab a whole bunch of dudes to death in that fight? I guess. Anyway, hand waving. It's something, not fatal wounds. I guess. Who knows? Okay, that's fine. That's my only other minor rant. Really, what I should be doing is, again, can we just talk about how Yelena and Kate Bishop are freaking amazing? Their scenes are so hilarious. That's all.
I mean, I didn't have an issue with the swordsman being a bad guy or a good guy or whatever. I guess my bigger issue was that it just felt like there were people who recognized him from the comics and who.
Oh yeah, I had no idea he was going to be an actual like character. You know what I mean?
Right. And like it just felt to me like they didn't. There wasn't enough character development with him, and so I guess it felt to me like it got to the end and he was a good guy. And it's like, okay, well, like sure, why not? I mean, I don't really have any reason.
I feel like they
feel strongly about him.
Yeah, I feel like they put some shade towards him. And maybe didn't mask the dark sides of him appropriately to put him in enough. Like I agree with you, Josh. It does feel like he's at a black market auction, even though it's a black market auction that maybe. I mean, we all do shady things in our lives, and sometimes some of them are not all that shady. I mean, what are they selling? They're selling the Ronins. They're selling things they got from the
ruin of the Avengers compound.
Right.
They're selling things they probably got from Vulture. Let's be honest. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so they got them from Vulture. These things are just they're out there, they're being sold. Is it technically legal? Yes, but is it super bad? I mean, they're not selling nukes. They're not selling drugs.
That you know of. You don't know
Wait
what's in that Rolex.
Okay, I understand. But my only point is maybe I agree with
This
you to some
Ronin
degree.
suit is super important, Trevor.
I'm saying that maybe they should have made the foreshadowing that he's not a bad guy a little better.
Yes, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what?
It felt like they wanted to do a switcheroo, kind of.
They did, but
which
it was
is fine.
Which is
that's
fine,
what I mean.
whatever.
It felt unearned, though.
Sure.
I want to be able to go back, just like I did in Sixth Sense, spoilers, and find out that the guy was not dead, or the guy was dead, and then go back and want to watch it again. That was not earned. I didn't go to the end and go, oh, the swordsman was a good guy. Now I got to go back and watch all the scenes he was in and see.
Yeah, when
how
he
I
talks about
misinterpreted
buying a book on being a good stepdad, I got to see how that was really telling us he's a good guy. Come on, whatever. So.
Yeah, it did not do that it could have or should have with just a little bit.
I'm just saying they could have had like 60 more seconds of Yelena saying Kate Bishop, and I would have been happy.
What did you guys think of the LARPers? Did you enjoy that part of the show?
They were fun. It was funny. I mean, that was about all I would say about it.
Did you feel that it veered into Big Bang territory of making fun of them too much?
Oh, well, no, I guess I didn't feel like that. I don't think. I mean, in the end, they kind of ended up being like this competent little set of allies.
Heroes.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of took it. I think it's a fair question, though.
Listen, I'm contractually obligated to deny anything to do with LARPing. It's the way I am.
It'll take your geek shame the bridge too far.
Yeah,
that's correct. Yes, you will not catch me in the park with a boffer.
That is more than he can bear.
All right. Well, do either of you have anything else to go over before we start the grading?
Real quickly, I know I have already raved about Yelena enough, but the way they handled like her experiencing the blip, that was actually one of those moments where I gasped, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. So I thought that was a really interesting story beat for them to take a look at. So props on that one. You may begin the grading rubric.
Anything from you, Trevor?
No, I'm good to go on.
Okay. There was a part of me that when we saw Yelena that was hoping that we would also see more of the Countessa, but
that would have been amazing.
But no. All right. So grading, first topic,
design.
I mean, I think we've hashed this through and through. There's obviously some plot issues and some. I mean, MacGuffins are MacGuffins because they're MacGuffins. So it really is just a fake thing that everybody's trying to get a hold of for a fake reason, and that's what drives the plot. So, but that's not necessarily what we come for anyway. So I think it was well done. I think it's above average for modern TV. Is it, landmark? No. It's probably a 6 or 7.
I like a 7 myself, and again, we all know why. Jay, where you at?
I'm probably at a 7 as well. Yeah.
Okay. Time management. Oh, I will say one other quick thing on design. I did like how they made this a Christmas season. Christmas series. I think that was really well done. So, yeah, time management.
So I'm going to throw in that it didn't feel like they had any more stuff for more episodes, but 6 episodes is not a season to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair complaint.
I honestly, I would have been a lot happier if it was, say, 8 episodes, and they spent that time making me care more about, say, the Swordsman and Echo.
Okay. I would have just taken 2 more episodes of Yelena.
Sure.
Yelena and Kate Bishop hijinks of some sort.
Yeah, and I can see some ways they could extend it that way. I'm in agreement. I just think, we're bored with 6 episodes and them being, I mean, I don't know the exact times on all of them, but 40 minutes each or whatever.
Yeah, they're roughly.
Yeah, the final episode's an hour, everything else is 40-ish.
we're closing
But
in
really,
on
a lot
a
of
bit of
them,
editing and a feature-length film.
Yeah, right.
a lot of them are 30, 35 minutes when you have the
When you
10
take the
minute
credits and
credit
stuff.
scene.
Yeah. Plus the previously on, which their previously ons are very thorough.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a money-making scheme, if they make more money when they have,
A certain number
a
of
series
episodes.
that they can use it, but it feels
Oh,
like
I think that it's feeling like they're wanting to have either a Marvel or a Star Wars new release each week. And so,
I guess I
Mm.
can give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt because I do too.
right, yeah.
Sure.
But
Congrats on being the target audience, Trevor.
yeah, that's fair. But I wish it would have 8 to 10 episodes is kind of my minimum for a season, and this just felt. My daughter was even a little bit
Like
she got a little.
disappointed kind of thing.
She's a teenager now, so she got a little snarky at Disney for only doing 6 episodes. And I
What
proof.
was her snark? I want to. How's she doing on her teenager snark level?
I've trained her pretty well. She's pretty sassy at this point. She's mostly sassy with me, mostly because I'm sassy back. So you guys probably have never seen how much I tease my children. I tease them constantly, and for the longest time, she was.
So many therapy bills.
Yeah, I know. She was the type of kid that when I would tease her when she was little, she would take it as gospel truth. So my wife would tell her something that was factually accurate. I would tease her with something that was totally not accurate but sounded accurate, and she would believe me and not my wife. My wife hated me. And so now that she's old enough to realize that Dad has been teasing her entire life, she is starting to get snarky back.
Just like Kate Bishop, she's learning that her dad was a monster in the end.
I was happy to see the actress that plays the mother enter into the MCU. I like her.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't even really recognize her. So clearly, I
yeah. I mean, she's mostly in horror movies. So
okay.
I don't watch horror movies, so I'm wondering where I saw her because I've seen her around quite a bit as well. Anyway,
so sorry. Numbers on time management. I'm feeling a 6.
I think a 6. Yeah.
Okay. Across the board, is it the Devil's rating, Trevor?
I think that it does manage its time well during the episodes. I'm just disappointed in the length of the season. So
okay.
Probably
So
I'm not gonna go with the 666. I'm sorry.
You're docking it to a 5 for.
I cannot worship you today. I will go with the 7
for the short season. Oh, you're going up. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Repeatability. This one gets higher marks from me.
Because of Elena.
Yes, 100%. No, well, but like I've already actually watched the first 4 episodes now twice because and I'll probably end up watching them 3 times because like I watched them all so we could grade it, right? And my family got about halfway through and then whatever, they just lose focus. And then my 19-year-old is also watching it and I basically have been watching it with her, kind of thing. And I've really enjoyed it each time. So I'm gonna actually call it an 8 for repeatability.
Oh, I'll probably go with a 7.
Yeah, I probably if
6,
I watch it
6 from Trevor.
if I watch it again, I'll probably just skip to the Kate Bishop and
yeah, episodes 5 and 6. Good call. Good call.
Not just that. I really do like Haley Steinfeld. I would just watch the scenes with her. I think they're both amazing. I think they together are really fantastic. So obviously that's the highlight. But yeah, I don't know that I'll watch it again. I'll be honest. I'm sure someday I will, but it's not very high. The 6 is probably appropriate.
Okay. So fun. I give high marks on fun too. So I'm gonna call it an 8 on fun.
Yes, I think that's probably.
I mean, honestly, it should be its strongest score. I think.
What it scores best at, right? Out of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree. If you hand wave some of the plot issues and some of the other things that we don't care, like if you hand wave Jeremy Renner a little bit, yeah. the fun
Does that mean like you just pretend he's a totally different actor? Is that what that would mean?
I
was watching a show with Jeremy Jenner in it.
I'm trying to remember the first show I saw him in. It's got to be like a Hurt Locker. I don't know, but like he's one of those punchable faces. Like I just look at him and man, I hate your guts, and I don't know why. I just dislike you.
It's kind of it's amusing to me as well that uh, he's like an all-time top attractive person for Zosha, and so we end up, texting back and forth a fair bit, teasing each other about that, about how bad of taste the other one has.
Nice.
But clearly, Trevor and I are correct.
I've never, anytime he's been like the quote unquote leading man, I'm just like, I'm straight out. I don't even watch those movies. And some of them are like supposed to be right up my alley. Like, what was the one that he led for Bourne's Identity?
Yeah, the Bourne one. Yeah.
I never even saw it. I'm just like, Jeremy Renner? No, I'm out.
Not interested.
Isn't he in the Mission Impossibles as well?
Yeah, and he's he spoiler, he kills a very important person, or he thinks he does, and it just makes you hate him more. Anyway, I don't really care for him there either, and I love those movies, but he's not always the lead by any means. But he is in a bunch of the last few ones, the best one. So he doesn't ruin them.
Next one.
I figured out where I saw.
Overall is our final score.
Oh, where did you see her?
Source Code. One of my favorite movies. She plays the Air Force officer that's in Source Code.
There you have it. What did you say was the next one, Josh?
Overall, and I'm giving it the Yelena Kate Bishop 8.
I mean, I'm fine with an 8, honestly.
Wow, look at the generosity on this guy. It must be the leftover Christmas season feelings.
I love how our ratings are totally arbitrary because I don't remember what I rated What If, and
all that matters is you rated No Way Home a 10. I could probably tell you what you rated What If.
I mean, I don't really care.
You gave it a 7 overall, for the record.
Dang it! I didn't really want to give this an 8, but I will
because it's better than What If.
It's better than What If.
I clearly rated What If too high.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably true.
But my arbitrary ratings just, they have to be consistent, arbitrary.
I mean, after all these many years, I'm starting to finally rub off on you, Trevor.
So then the final question is, what do you say about audience for this one? My quote is that this is for people who enjoy joy. Bro. Oh, man. We forgot to mention the greatest scene, which is the advice that she gives about one of the Tracksuit Mafia guy's girlfriends. That was totally worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It was great, but it wasn't. It could have been not as great. The payoff scene where he comes back to her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that
says it worked. That was the combination of those two was just
super well done. So anyway, that's what I say. If you enjoy Joy, you're going to enjoy Hawkeye.
Would you watch this, Josh, with any of your family members, regardless of age?
I would. Yeah, I feel that actually it might be the safest of the Disney Plus series.
I thought it still had some swearing, didn't it?
Maybe. Who cares? It probably was with a Russian accent if it did.
We were children of the 80s. Our PG movies are littered with swear words.
That's true, Jay. Yeah. No, I didn't remember there being too much profanity. The violence was all pretty tame. Yeah, I do. I feel like it's the safest because the reason I say that is like WandaVision just is very heavy theme, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would 100%.
What about you, Trevor?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd let my 10-year-old watch it, but he keeps getting older and older every year, and I can't stop him. He's
that
seen
is kind of how it works.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's seen everything previous. So I'd almost be hypocritical to say that this is the line in because it's not. I mean, it's certainly I've let him watch worse. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back. The funny thing is as a kid, especially in the 80s, we had a RoboCop Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, we were inundated with violence and other things that were, thrown on TV and other stuff. And it just feels like, I saw that stuff at a very young age, and maybe I'm making excuses, but it feels like they are more curated than we were by default.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess I don't have an issue with it. I don't mind if my, young child sees some violence. Because
See some arrows sticking out of dudes.
yeah,
All
Well, there you
right.
have it.
Well, let us know what you guys think of Hawkeye and think of, I guess, what's currently been going on with the MCU.